Hello. Yeah, good evening. Good evening, sir. Am I speaking with the clerk of the Senate? Okay. Listen, I'm here with a complaint, yes, a complaint. You know, say the Senate president, who happens to be the bishop of the house now, understand? In turn, say, una don't send a token to us and also an email prayer to our email. One of our senators, we the obedient, we come here now to tell you this complaint. Say one of our senators from Abuja now, what think they tell me? Yeah, from Abuja, the FCT senator. They tell us say she never received her own email. Even the token she never received. In fact, she's even confused. What thing happen now? Oh, now play the Senate president they play. No, now all of us they there. What's with you now, Oga Clark? No be play. Wetin dey happen? Una don dey share the thing between other PDP and APC members. Okay, she should check her email. Okay, you are telling me now to tell her to check her email and also check the account. Understand that kind of thing? Okay, now we will send the message to her because she's confused. So you know, say you know they're good now. But Oga Clark, no verse. What of we Nigerians? We know receive our own. What do we go do? Or we should check only email prayer. What of the token now? We're not going to send the token to us. Or we need to go for any holiday. Now, they do that thing now, Oga Clark. Oga Clark, but I say so. I beg you, when I hear what thing they happen, you know, see, this is our senator, they use all they play. Because I wanted to watch this particular video now from one of our senators, Labour Party senator from Abuja. She told us that she never received her own. No. Now why I come call the clerk now, ask her whether the thing never reach everybody. Because what in the Senate president, who happened the bishop of the house, the bishop in be now, because in the same prayers. What in tell us say, in don't send the token and also an email prayer. But our senator, they tell us say she never received her own. Just watch the video. You understand what I mean? Hi.
Let me now switch to our second guest on the program, Senator Ireti Kingibe. Is the federal lawmaker representing the Federal Capital Territory in the Senate. It's good to see you, Senator. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight. And let me begin by asking you, one of the persons, 45 persons were confirmed by yourself and your colleagues. 3 were not. And one of the person is a woman. Can you give us an idea of the real reasons why they were not confirmed?
Well, we were told that they were being cleared for security. Their security clearance had not come through yet. So obviously without that, we had to wait. So we cleared the other people. We confirmed the other people. We had screened them all, but we didn't confirm.
How does this operate, though? I mean, were you privy, or are the senators privy to the security, the said security report on these persons?
No, we were not privy to it. We were just told.
Because I imagine it's supposed to be a communication.
They had not been.
Yeah, because I imagine that this security report will have emerged based on petitions sent to the National Assembly, and the Senate would have transmitted such communication to the relevant security agencies. I assume so. Am I right?
I assume that that's how it's done. You must remember that I'm a new senator, but if I recall, we didn't actually bring up any of the petitions on the floor of the Senate. We were told they would come up during the confirmation, but at confirmation, all the others had been cleared except the last 3 that we were told had not received security clearance, and therefore we had to wait. So we just confirmed those that had received because we were going on recess, pending if we get the go ahead on the others, then maybe we will clear them.
Talking about recess now, have you gotten the prayers in your mailbox as promised by the Senate President?
No, actually, I haven't. I didn't receive any prayers, but I will check my email for the prayers. But that's it. No.
So you're not enjoying your recess because the Senate President said the token will drop in your account so that you can enjoy your recess.
Truthfully, I don't know what he was talking about, but most people assume that maybe allowances may be paid, but they may be statutory things that would have been paid anyway. I don't think it was anything extra that we're supposed to be given.
I mean, coming from a Labour Party...
I certainly haven't seen anything extra yet.
Yeah, coming from a Labour Party, for example, and considering the situation of the country, the National Assembly has been heavily hit as one of the most, the senators and lawmakers in Nigeria, highest paid in the world. And those who said this is alarming, coming from a Labour Party, for example, do you feel alarm also? There are some parts of the lifestyle, the cost to run the National Assembly that you feel uncomfortable with.
Yes, truthfully, that is so. But I know that I can't change anything. So I have a development office for which any things that are not necessary, I have a constituency office. I also have a development office where I do development programs for the people. And hopefully anything extra I put in, any allowances, obviously I knew we've been paid very little, but as they come in, a lot of it will go towards funding that office, the development programs.
But as it is right now, with the manner in which what Nigerians are facing, and I'm very certain that there are families who are watching now tonight, they're not confident of what they will eat. They are not certain of the kind of roof that will be above their heads tonight. And you look at even the measurement and the statistics coming out about the rate of poverty in our land. I mean, what comes to your mind when they talk about politicians, 109 of yourself, and it talks about the kind of vehicle that will help you do your job? Do you feel that it is morally right to get these kind of things? Although you said you cannot change things, but I mean, your party has spoken up about your principal, Mr. Peter Obi, had said, look, Nigeria, we cannot continue like this. Do you feel somehow that we cannot really continue like this? If you have your way, Senator, what would you change?
Truthfully, we cannot continue like this. I was hoping that things would change with this election. It doesn't seem to have much, but we're all new. The president is new, so maybe he still has other things to do. Some of the things that I would do, for one thing, that I think would help, and this is my utopian view of Nigeria. You're telling me if I had my way what I would do, I can tell you some of the things I would do. I would insist that all government vehicles be bought. The vehicles must have been assembled in Nigeria. That will go a long way to improving productivity in Nigeria. For one thing, Innocent, perhaps Volkswagen and Peugeot, and maybe even Toyota might decide that it's worth their while to set up an assembly plant here. Certain things like tin tomatoes, a few local things should not be imported. Yes, we would have a short period of some kind of inconvenience, but those are the things that will bring down the dollar to naira and that will also help grow our economy. Those are some of the things that I would do. I personally ride a 1986 car. I'm not particular about vehicles. As long as it moves, it's fine with me. So I am not, but as you can see, whenever people talk about us Labour senators, there are only 8 of us. And in a democracy, the minority will have their say, but at the end of the day, the majority will have their way. We will make changes that we can make. But we're also new in the Senate. We're trying to find our feet. We're trying to get to know the run of the place. So they have to give us a little bit of time to see the impact that we can make as well. A few weeks is too early to judge us in the Senate.
You must be happy, isn't it, that there is, perhaps for the first time in a long time that I can remember, that an indigenous FCT person has been nominated as a minister. How does that come to you?
Well, I'm happy that FCT has a minister. We can start off with it being an indigenous person, but at the end of the day, lots of other people also still live in FCT, and there are also several indigenous tribes. But yes, I am thrilled at the fact that we have an FCT senator, an FCT minister. It's never been done, and as I said on the day he was being screened, we thank President Tinubu for doing that.
Describe to us tonight, Senator, the caliber of persons that were brought before you, the quality that we were promised in the manifesto and other campaign of the APC. Does that come to you? If you were a private person and you are in the private sector, would you regard those persons as employable if you have the capacity to interview them in such a fora?
Well, they must be employable because they have been employed in the past. But I do think that from their previous jobs, they've already given their best. And were I the president, I would have tried to bring in new people, fresh blood, new ideas, not recycling the same people. And that is, they've done their best in whatever capacities they've worked. There were few people that were fresh and new, that's true. And I saw some of the nominees had great potential, but the bulk of them were mostly people who had been constantly recycled. And if I were a private person or I had a say, I would have suggested newer, fresher people.
So you are not as much impressed?
Truthfully, not really, no.
If you are not as much impressed by the name...
But it is the prerogative of the president to pick his candidates.
Yeah. Well, you have your opinion as a lawmaker.
Federal Executive Council. Yeah. Yes, but we will have our opinions. And
you don't need to regret your statement over that. You can share your opinion, that's okay. But the question here is that if you're not so impressed about, because the expectations are this high for a lot of Nigerians based on the pedigree of the president and what he's done in the past, the capacity that a lot of people have talked about that he has shown in Lagos to be able to identify quality. Now, are you also impressed about the performance of you and your colleagues in the manner in which you went about the screening? And let me give you a little feedback. Those who believe that your work as senator were not thorough enough to scrutinize these persons. These are the people that will be taking over the affairs of our nation, the sensitive and the crucial aspect of our lives, as over 200 million people of this country. We could have done more. And that those who believe that,
we
some
had
of you and your colleagues were under par
as was said on the floor of the Senate. The rule of the Senate is that if you've ever been a member of the House of Rep or a senator, then we don't screen you. You take a bow and leave. And there were a lot of them that were former senators and former House of Reps. So,
Senator, does that make sense? That you being a CEO of another company, now you're going to take over another company. So you just take a bow and take over the job. Is that how it works? You look at what it takes to be a lawmaker. It's just simple being a 30-year-old Nigerian, and you can be a lawmaker. You have an SSE certificate.
Sheung, I am one of the people who believe that taking a bow is wrong, and we should have been given the opportunity to have more in-depth questioning of them. But as you know, as I keep telling you, the majority will have their way. And at the end of the day, even asking questions, people think, I get emails from people say, you didn't complain, you didn't do this, you didn't say that. But the truth is, you can only speak on the floor of the Senate when you are given permission to speak. So, or you can only ask questions, you can only say anything when you are given the floor to speak. So, yes, things could be different, but they were not.
Senator.
And I think that going forward, hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yes, and I think that going forward, for one thing, I think that we should have had less ministers, not more, because I feel that the economy is not strong enough for a more expanded cabinet. I think it should have been a smaller one. But at the end of the day, I'm not the president. All these things are his prerogative. These things are our opinion. I know the economy is, we should be seen to be setting an example. We tell the people to sacrifice. We also need to make certain changes. And I think that needs to happen.
I mean, would you be making any commitment, Senator? And I'm holding you again, just like a lot of Nigerians. I mean, there is a very popular legal maxim which says, "He who come to equity must come with clean hands." Your party has spoken so much about morality, justification of responsibility that have been imposed on those who are in public office. Would you, for example, considering the enormous resources plowed into governance in Nigeria, that those who are in public office should show example? For you, you are just a voice out of the 109. Would you be able to show an example, and in what way, that you are also tightening your belt and as a face of Labour Party in the parliament?
As I tightening my belt, I will tighten my belt. Starting forward, we've started off trying to get offices and things, but generally, I have my personal salary put in a separate account, which I'm going to be using for people of the FCT. I do make a lot of personal sacrifices even before getting to the Senate. But as I said, I'm only one person. I'm looking forward to passing certain bills that make a lot of difference to the FCT. I'm also looking forward to, as chairman of Women's Affairs, making an impact on the lives of women. So by the time we come back, give us a few more months, maybe you will be able to see the difference between the Labour Party senators and other senators.
All right. We will love some examples. I mean, in the past, sometimes you just need to see just one or two acts that will stand out. And if that's the case, we will be looking forward to that. But there are some of your constituents who are saying that they did not see you today at the old parade ground at the commemoration of the World Indigenous Day. Is there any reason we are not able to be there?
Yes, Sharon, I fell down for the same reason that you're filming me from the house and not in the studio. Somebody had poured something on the floor of the corridors of the Senate, and I fell and twisted my ankle, and I'm in a brace and can barely walk. And that's why I was not seen there today.
All right. I hope those who are asking me that question have heard now. Thank you so much indeed, Senator, for coming tonight on the program, and I hope that your ankle heals early enough. Thank you. So that you can get on your research and get that mail in your, the mail that the Senate President promised. You can get it to enjoy yourself as much as you can. Thank you so much, Senator t0ken, Senator representing the FCT.
Just one moment.
Yeah. Go ahead,
I wanted to add something.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'm not defending the Senate President, but in truth, one senator had brought a motion asking that as a Senate, we should tell the National Electricity Regulation Commission that they must not do the 40% increase because, and he was the one who first brought up the Nigerians have been inundated with a lot of things. They need to be allowed to breathe. So the Senate president just reiterated what he said by saying that Nigerians need to breathe. So in truth, he wasn't making fun of Nigerians. He was only just repeating what that senator said in asking that we must not allow the increase in electricity tariffs.
Oh, thank you so much.
Because, I mean, I know that we're doing a lot of things in a manner that they shouldn't be. And believe it or not, when I'm off camera, I'm extremely critical. But as they tell me, whenever I bring up something, Madam, you're opposition. That's true. But in this respect, truly, he was not making fun of the people. He was only repeating what the senator was asking for.
Ireti Kingibe, Senator representing the FCT and a member of the Labour Party. Thank you so much indeed. It's good to see you.